There's so many. There's so many. I was looking at that question and I'm like, one of the worst gigs was it was 2 weekends in a row. Cause you know, you go play here. Like one time the drovers with Carl and Ray, the mature drovers, and not whacked out of their minds on God knows what. Haven't drank for 90-something days and like telling you every day, it's my 32nd day. And then all of a sudden their 92nd day, they kill a bunch of Wild Irish Rose right before they played some gospel place in Liberty. We didn't have people like that in the band. One night we played for the Lions Club in Slater, where Marietta. And they paid us like $200 or $300. And it was like the Lions Club Christmas thing. So they asked, next year, you want to do it again? And I said, yeah. And that night, who's going to pay us? I don't remember who paid us last time, you know. And did we get cash? I don't even remember. Probably did. And this old lady comes out and goes, I want to thank you boys for playing. Y'all were great. And she gave us all a Claxton fruitcake. And like, thank you, ma'am. I like fruitcake. People make fun of it. I love it. And then like, where's the person? Well, that was our pay. But one time, we used to do these little tours, and we'd go up as far as New York City because we had a place to play in New York. I mean, lucked out on that bigger than hell. We were going to go for like 2 weeks, and we were going to start up and play this place and then go to Winston-Salem and Pittsburgh the next weekend and then work our way back home. Well, Mark, he'd been getting all pissed off and about everything. So he goes, well, I can't get off work. And his boss was 3 drovers worked for him, and he's letting them off. Like, what are you talking about? Well, I can't afford it. They will fix it, you know. We'll just go on tour. And so he decided he was going to do 2 weekends. So the first weekend we played, I forgot where we played. Then we played this place in Winston-Salem. The guy promised us we'd make like $350. Nobody showed up. Not for us. I mean, they didn't sell. There was no food sold either, you know. And he just kind of like left. They're like, Mr. So-and-so left, you know, and like, what? And there was no cell phones then, you know, they'd be calling him. And I remember John Williams, all these punk rockers that had moved to Raleigh came to see us, and they were bummed out. We didn't feel like playing. We had our little PA set up. We got up, we used to do Howdy Neighbor Howdy by Porter Wagner, and then we're on our way back home from Grandpa John's, and we got up and we went, Howdy Neighbor Howdy, we're on our way back home, and Torty like, fuck, man. We stole all these paintings off the wall. They're probably worth nothing, you know, but we was taking stuff off the wall, man. And then the next week, we're going to the Pittsburgh part. Mark was mad as hell that we didn't make any money. We was going to give him all the money we made. And Clovis and Homer got in a fight in the parking lot. We got back to Greenville. So the next weekend, we're going to Pittsburgh. And Homer, Scott Hill, he's super psyched because he grew up in Pittsburgh. And I'm like, I've never been to Pittsburgh. It's awesome. We were going to play this one place, and the big coffee craze hadn't hit everywhere, especially down here. And we was going to play this coffee house called the Beehive. We were promised $100, and it was cool as hell. Half the people were, well, like a third of the people were playing Trouble, all these games. A third of the people were sketching you. And then the other third was like, oh my God. And we got $100. So we went down to the club. We were supposed to play the next afternoon. They didn't have a big crowd for Friday night. And this guy promised us we was going to make like $500 on Saturday afternoon. We made $30-something. And the only reason we played because the guy's wife, girlfriend we were staying with, was there. And I had a friend who came from Bradford. He drove like an hour or two. They got a room. See the drovers. And because he lived in Clemson and he was living up there then. So we played. I had to make the guy give me the $30-something. He was like, well, you know, I got to pay the doorman. I was like, well, we're staying at this guy's him and his girlfriend's house that we used to party with at Clemson. And she didn't want us smoking pot in her house. And then we smoked pot outside and she got madder than hell. So that next morning we get up, we bought this, Mark had got this Ethiopian coffee, and we were like gonna drink some Ethiopian coffee. Scott and all them, Homer and them were already in the living room. And man, she laid into them like, you know, I know what y'all did, you know, blah, blah, blah. You know, she was a drug counselor too. She goes, I can't believe y'all did that. And we're like in the kitchen like going, whoa. And Homer's like, we're sorry. We're sorry. But that night, that day, she went ahead and went, that's one reason we played. And she was like smiling. She had a great time. We're getting up on Sunday morning. We were like an hour above Pittsburgh. It was like being out 6 Mile or something. And we didn't know where the hell you was at. So we were leaving. We don't even get a mile down the fucking road. And this deer jumps out of this field and we clip it midair and bust a headlight. So I don't know, it was a Walmart. It was a big store like that. We went to get a headlight, and Mark, he's just sitting there putting quarters, like trying to call. Because you are supposed to report if you hit a deer in Pennsylvania. It's the law. So He finally got a hold of him. And he was trying to call that girl Obie's girlfriend because she was a real naturalist. She was raising butterflies in the house from like whatever, it's different, so he had to tell her. Dan went down there and clobbered it and put it out of his misery. And Mark used to drive us crazy in the van, Luke. Drive us crazy. That was a 14-hour ride. He didn't say a word. And never played with us again because we hit the deer and he didn't make any money.